Hello, Army of Light, Earth Division, Boots on the Ground. It's Shauna L. Francis, and today is March 3rd, 2023. Thanks so much for joining me. We are channeling Queen Elizabeth. I'm doing better today, not quite as tired, but I wouldn't say 100% yet, but I did much better today, feeling good. Thanks everybody for all your beautiful comments and everything that you are doing to support me and to support the Queen. I have 3,000 words, almost 3,000 words to go through with all of you today. For whatever reason, I started out asking her some personal questions about what is her experience on the other side. And she answered a few questions, and then Melchizedek chimed in. So we have this really incredible discussion about the essence of life and the meaning of life. Anyway, very cool. We talk about free will a little bit, and then Elizabeth went into what she wanted to talk to us about today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we had our pleasantries here. I asked how she was doing. She asked how I was doing, and I said, I don't know if you could answer this, Elizabeth, but I'm wondering, how are you experiencing yourself out of embodiment? I said, is there a way that you can describe to me what it feels like in the state that you're in? And also, what is your perception of time? If you could describe it in relation to how I would understand time and experience as a human. And she says, oh, thank you, Shauna. My experience here on the quote unquote other side, it's quite beautiful. Such freedom, such feelings of peace, and just a grand knowing that everything is working out exactly how it should, all in divine ways. You are aware of the master plan for everything and the different roles that we play within this master plan. It all makes so much more sense, she said. All of that heavy confusion and worry while you are in embodiment, it feels like a distant wind in the trees, something far away. You can remember it and you can recall what that was like, but it's not a part of your immediate experience, she said. I said, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I said, how about time? Can you tell me how you experience time? Excuse me. And she said, well, there's just no thinking about it. It's not important. It's not top of mind as it is while you are human. I experience myself as consciousness, so I am somewhat self-contained in that way. I recognize myself as a soul who is also very much connected to the whole, but it's almost as if time stands still. She said, imagine, Shauna, if time stood still, but yet you could still do all the things that you wanted to do and take as much time as you needed to get those things done. You think of something and then you're doing it. There's no need to really plan or forecast because anything that you desire or want, you just do it. It's all very creative. It's very different, Shauna, from the human experience. I said, thank you for that, Elizabeth. I said, so when we meet like we do, here we are in this routine. I'm living in a day. I get up, I eat, I do my thing. You and I spend some time together. I go to bed, we get up and we do the same thing. I said, what is that experience like for you? Can you compare that to what you are experiencing on your side? She said, oh yes, Shauna, it's very different. There is no sleeping or waking schedule. There's no food to be eaten. There's no body to take care of. All these things that take so much focus, time, and energy while in embodiment, they just don't apply here. So I can be fully immersed in what I'd like to create. She said, I have no sense of time passing, but then you show up and we speak, and then you go away. And then I do more creating, I do more thinking, I do more building of what I want to cover and how I want to cover it. And it's all very much happening in real time, she said. It seems I don't have a sense for how much of your time necessarily has passed in between our meetings, although I understand it a bit because they tell me what's happening. But this all kind of blends together in one big all-encompassing experience. And when she said they tell her, I believe it's the guides. You know, we've got Melchizedek and other guides helping us, helping to facilitate this process, to oversee it. And I wasn't done. I kept going. I said, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Can I ask you a couple more questions? She said, certainly. I said, when did you decide that you were going to join the light? Is that something you can explain? I said, like, at what point and what experience, what dimension did you decide that you were going to leave the reptilian regime behind and join and serve the light? She said, Shauna, that is a very good question. Even as I am here speaking with you now, I do not have conscious recollection of that exact moment that the larger part of me decided to abandon the regime and move to the light. I said, okay. I said, do you think it was after you died as Elizabeth, or do you think that it was even before you were in embodiment as Elizabeth that you may have decided this? She said, again, Shauna, it's such a good question. She said, the aspect of my soul who is speaking to you now is very much tied to Elizabeth, the human, that aspect of a much larger monad, a much broader soul. She said, so there is this fraction of my soul, this part of my soul, who was Elizabeth. And this part of my soul is speaking to you right now, relaying to you all the things that I want to relay, telling you everything that I want to say about that lifetime, what I know about the negative reptilians, and what I know about the ascension. She said, my oversoul decided at some point that it was no longer serving itself by being in the space of the low density negative reptilian hive mind experience. She says here, so I had no conscious idea of this whatsoever while I was Queen Elizabeth in embodiment. However, when I passed over, I was informed by our guides, our angel family, that this decision had been made. And it was like a gift, Shauna. It was like a gift to know that my soul had chosen this. And when I understood this, I knew deep in my heart that yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And I was feeling just so very relieved and knowing somewhere deep within me that serving the light in this way was exactly the next perfect step for me. I said, wow. I said, thank you for that, Elizabeth. That's so beautiful. And I kept going here. I said, do you know how many lifetimes or how long, if that even applies, you were serving the negative reptilians? I said, maybe Melchizedek would be better to answer this. And certainly here they come. Here comes Melchizedek. They said, yes, Shauna, this is Melchizedek. Elizabeth, similar to you, Shauna, had been in embodiment working on behalf of the negative reptilian regime for nearly countless lifetimes, a very, very long time. Shauna, your oversoul, just like Elizabeth's oversoul, decided that it had had enough of the low density and was ready to experience this realm of existence through the ascension. And there's karmic balancing that must happen to allow the low frequencies to be released and the higher frequencies to be embodied and to be experienced. It's a bit of a process. There are passageways, doors, gates that allow one to ascend in this way. And both of you are walking this path now. I said, okay, thank you, Melchizedek. I said, I do have a lot of questions and I don't understand all of this, especially how free will works at this level that we're at the human aspect level, and then free will or choice at the monad level. So I've often wondered about this, and I've talked to our guides about it quite a bit. How does free will really work at this level that we're at? Because it seems to me a lot of our biggest decisions are made at least our higher self or our oversoul level. And it looks like, it sounds like this is one of those cases. You're going from something you've only really known, the negative reptilians, being at that low frequency, serving the dark in that way, to switching teams to the light. This is an oversoul situation. I said, Melchizedek, is there anything else that you can do to help me understand, the human monad, the human aspect versus the monad, and how choices are made? They said, Shauna, this is Melchizedek, the monad, the oversoul, sorry team, operates outside of time, outside of space, a light, a beaming light in the cosmos, with many, many points of light, extending out in all directions. Each of those points of light, an aspect of that soul. Elizabeth, an aspect of her oversoul. Shauna, an aspect of your oversoul. The aspects are what bring the rich, rich experiences to the soul. The soul being connected to God, truly being one with God, all that is the omnipotent, the omnipresent source. They said here, there's different levels of choice at the different levels of consciousness. And for those who find themselves in similar situations as you and Elizabeth, Shauna, you are getting firsthand glimpses into how this experience actually works, how existence plays out on this grand stage. And they said here, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you truly are not able to comprehend the vastness here, the complexities, and the multifaceted layers of what it means to be in existence. So it requires a lot of faith, Shauna, and a lot of trust. Have they just been talking to us about this forever or what? Faith and trust, because we just can't get everything. We really can't comprehend it. We're really not capable of really understanding fully what this is. And they continued here. Your experiences, and many of you on the earth plane, many of your experiences are unique in this way. You are awakening to the true nature of reality in the doses that you are able to understand and to embrace and to be positively integrated into your identification. Your experience of yourself beyond the human existence, beyond your ego and consciousness, is a big part of the awakening process. No wonder this is so tough sometimes. They said here, this information comes to you through vibration, through energy. And it can be a somewhat clunky experience as you open yourselves up more and more to the nature of life. Even for the recently departed, for those who have recently passed through the veil from life through death back to eternal life, may not understand the full picture of existence. It's good to know. Know that there are parts of you who do know, who do understand, and those who do have your best interest at heart, and they work tirelessly on your behalf to help provide the experiences, create the situations that allow for continual growth, You and Elizabeth may not be consciously aware of the decision that you made to leave the dark, dense service behind to serve the light, to serve love. Nonetheless, because you are a part of your oversoul, which made that decision, you feel that knowing deep within you, deeply connected to what feels like truth for you. Okay. So this is why it all clicks into place. Even though Shauna may not have made that decision, my oversoul had made the decision. I am part of my oversoul, therefore, yes, this works for me. This is exactly right. This feels right. They said here, the vast spirit teams surrounding all of you help you with this transition, because we understand that you have limited visibility into the larger picture here, but yet your roles are so very important to the plane of existence that you are experiencing now. We are the liaison between you and your Oversoul. We are your guides in that way, so we help to facilitate that connection. We help to facilitate this understanding and your knowing. We help to open your hearts. We help you with your faith and trust. And hopefully we've shown you that we care deeply for you and support you and love you unconditionally. Knowing that you cannot fail, knowing that everything has been thought of, everything has been taken care of. Yes. You just get to do the work. You get to be at peace. And you get to go with the flow. And even when the flow gets difficult or challenging, they said, you'll see the larger prize, and your true faith and trust will carry you through those times. Okay. That was a big, long discussion here. I said, thank you so much, Melchizedek, for that. And thank you so much, Elizabeth, for answering all these questions. I'm so very thankful for you guys, I said. Okay, I believe that's really all the questions that I have. I said, unless Melchizedek, there's anything else, or Elizabeth, that you want to add. And they said, Shauna, this is Melchizedek. If you're feeling complete, we are also feeling complete here. I said, okay. All right. I said, Elizabeth, whenever you're ready. And there's about a 10-minute gap there, I think. She said, Shauna, as we continue to go down this long and winding path together, unraveling some of the mysteries of the monarchy, things that go on behind closed doors, the internal thought processes, the hive mind control, the maneuvering of a life that is not your own. Taking advantage of all the riches, the fame, the notoriety, the power, while knowing full well who your master really is. It can come to wear you down a bit. It certainly did me. And after a while, she said, you just quit fighting it and you succumb to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing without question, just going along. And at a certain point, you just don't want to fight anymore. You just lose any sense of autonomy. And it just becomes so much easier to succumb to the agenda, she said. And there was a pause here. She said, Shauna, when we meet our maker, there's just a feeling of emptiness, as though you are a porcelain doll, finely sculpted, but a hard exterior shell, and nothing but dark emptiness inside. What a visual for that. So as she talks about knowing who her maker is, the negative reptilian regime, that master's eye, that hive mind control, emptiness, a beautiful hard exterior shell with emptiness inside. Oh, it's heartbreaking. She said, I do not wish that kind of life on anyone. I feel eternally grateful, she said, for the opportunity to be of service to the light, feeling in control of myself, feeling as though I have my own thoughts, feeling like I actually have a real heart. She said, it's like catching your breath after being held underwater for a very long time. You come up to the surface and take a big gulp of air, and you allow that air to just fill you up. And though I am not in a human form right now, I'm feeling so alive. I'm feeling an entire range of emotions that I've been disconnected from for a very long time. And while I want to help end the control system of the negative reptilian regime, I also want to clearly and accurately depict what life is like for those in the grips of that control. Compassion, love, understanding, and non-judgment. These are our weapons in this war, and this is our war to win. This war is ours to win, is what she said. Excuse me. I said, yes, Elizabeth, it has been written. We are just going through the motions here to make it so. And Elizabeth said, yes, Shauna, what a glorious process. And we do this together fearlessly, knowing we've already won, knowing we cannot fail. This is the bigger picture I was speaking of earlier, seeing the divinity in everything, feeling at peace and in acceptance, even when the road is difficult. And to know we have an opportunity to revel in this process with all the faith and the devotion that we can muster, being present for the energies, for the unfolding, and being in awe for what this path reveals to us, she said. We've come here together today, Shauna, not only to do a job, but to broadcast out hope. And what does hope mean in this context, she said? Seeing beyond the immediate reality of any given situation and knowing deeply that massive opportunities await, that change is possible, that things can get better, that we can move forward, that we do have the strength and that we have the know-how to create anything we want to create. We can be anyone we wish to be. She said here, the keys to unlock the shackles, we hold it in our hands. We may still be looking for the keyhole, but we can feel it and we have hope. We understand where this is heading, she said. Shauna, as we speak, our words, our voices are placing those keys directly into the palms who wish to accept them. These are universal keys that will work anywhere in any situation. There is no limit to what these keys can unlock, she said. And there was a big pause. And she said, Shauna, we have such a beautiful opportunity to lead by example, to be at peace. Knowing we can maintain our peace, even as we are in action to help stop the negative reptilian regime from operating in this plane of existence. She says here, and in fact, Shauna, our high degree of peace, this high vibrational state of peace, is one of the biggest tools in our arsenal to be able to do this. I said, yes, Elizabeth, very true. Peace, being at peace, it's our biggest tool in our arsenal. She said, Shauna, the winter season grows long and spring is nearly upon us. She said, at least, of course, for you and those on this side of the world. But she says it's also figuratively the dawning of springtime, for breaking out of our slumbers, recharging, regrowing, rebirthing, shedding old shells, shaking off the cobwebs, blooming, flowering, reaching for the sun, reaching for the high vibration. She said, no one can take away springtime from us and the rejuvenation that it brings. I love that. Shauna, this opportunity is both vast and deep. Let us not get overwhelmed by just how vast and deep this opportunity is, but let us take small steps, one at a time, that will help us reach our goal. And she said, thank you so much, Shauna. This is complete for me today. I said, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I will talk with you tomorrow, I said. All right, guys, almost 3,000 words today. Lots of Q&A. Let me know what you thought of this discussion. There's so many questions, and I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of all this, but please continue keeping your questions coming. I do read them, even though I may not have a chance to respond to your comments on YouTube. I try to read through everything, at least quickly. So keep the questions coming. And And as I am feeling it's a good time or the right frequency, or she and I are connected very tightly, I'll ask those questions as it's right, okay? All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting. You guys are amazing. We're doing really cool stuff here, and I'm just so thrilled, and I'm so honored to be walking this path with all of you. Thank you, team. I love you. All right, I do plan to see you tomorrow. Take care. Mwah.